Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarupesya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So we are very honored to have with us His Grace Pavaneshvar Prabhu. His Grace Pavaneshvar Prabhu. He was doing his engineering from IISc Bangalore. That time, very wonderful batch of devotees came. His Grace Avtarlila Prabhu came, and then Prabhuji, Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, many very wonderful Vaishnavas who we are getting to associate now with. They came from IISc Bangalore. They're all like very deeply learned in the scriptures and very humble and sweet Vaishnavas to deal with. So they all joined Chopati. In 2010, we joined the VTA and joined Chopati Ashram in 2011. And in 2011, His Grace Gaurang Prabhu, on the order of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, for the GEV, they wanted an army which will make the GEV project happen. So they were all recruited and they did all types of services which were required. There was no dearth of services. It was all jungles. And from jungle, you know what Mangal they have done now. So they did such wonderful hard work. And along with that, they were doing very hard studies, very sincere studies. You have associated with all these wonderful Vaishnavas. Balaram Shakti Prabhu also. All these devotees were in that batch. They were studying and working hard for the service of Radha Bhan Bihari Ji. And so he did his Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vidyapitam. He was the first batch. They were the first batch. And afterwards, his Gaurang Darshan Prabhu was made the main leader for the Vidyapitam. And then all these wonderful devotees have been serving as teachers along with their own services also. So Prabhuji heads the maintenance department and he has a very deep learning on in this discussion on creation, maintenance, destruction from the Canto 2, Canto 5. And he has come here also, plus he travels all over the world to present the Bhagavat cosmology. And he has also made a 3D model of the universe. Even in Vidyapitam time, I saw one Excel-based model in the Excel. Have you seen that one? In Excel, he showed all the phases of moon and phases. So amazing. In Excel, you can see moon going on. I never knew that in Excel you can make a 3D model also. So Prabhu is very learned, very deeply learned in scripture, very wonderfully presenting the scripture in a very palatable, simple way. He also made one beautiful book, which he gave a free copy also to me, very kindly as a loving subordinate. Bhagavatam as a seeker's journey. So he describes the whole flow of Bhagavatam in various, this book. So he has written this book also. So along with this, scholarly aptitude and, he has no scholarly attitude. He has only scholarly aptitude. His attitude is a loving menial servant. You will see him doing very simple services. And till his superiors did not tell him to present and do all this service to the devotees, he was just doing it in his own background and very happily situated. Not like kab milega mere ko mauka, very heartily just serving with a sincere servant attitude. And he's very, very pakka in keeping the subject aligned with Shastra. He will not like that Bhugol Varnan and all, Vadira Tirtha. So he will not like to present anything on a speculative platform, which is very important in this domain, especially because there can be so much speculation which one can do, and then we don't know where we will go. So Prabhu is like, this has not been told, so I cannot tell anything. So this is very clear, Shastra based. So very sincere faith in the acharyas and the Shastra and presenting it with a humble attitude. So they are adorned with wonderful Vaishnava qualities and scholarship. So we are blessed to have him here to present on this very difficult subject, which is usually like we just write the exam and move on. We just had the fifth canto, Prabhuji. So it was difficult. Most devotees told how it is very inconceivable, but you make it conceivable. so, so we are very blessed that you're here. Let us welcome His Grace Pavaneshvar Prabhu to Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir by one time loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your kind words of appreciation, though I don't deserve. So it is your causeless mercy upon me. So first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to each one of you for allowing me to come here and to be with all of you for one day, morning and evening. And also His Grace Radhesham Prabhu and His Grace Gopal Champ Prabhu for making sure that this happening here today. Because I could not give to Radhesham Prabhu directly this book. Man, last in the month of April, we wanted this book to be inaugurated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So there was ACM meeting in Govardhaniko village. First day Radhesham Prabhu was there. Second day he was not there. Second day we got it released through the hands of Maharaj. So later on I sent it through some other devotees to Radhesham Prabhu. Then I wrote a mail to him what this book is all about. So there I expressed. So I would like to present this topic from the third chapter, which is my favorite topic. So then Radhesham Prabhu immediately forward that mail to the coordinators of this BVRC, and then we are here today. So thank you very much for joining us. So we are going to discuss, as Prabhuji mentioned, many times many of our devotees have that misapprehension. So the topics in the second canto, third canto, and fifth canto seems to be too technical. So let us move on. Let us read through, but just as a casual reading and then move on. So like that. So kindly read through this sentence and think over it. Generally, we see the words of the scriptures through our experience in this world. Of course, all of us are practicing bhakti for many years, more than a decade, many of us. But for people in general who come to temple, who hear our classes, etc., this is the experience they go through. They have gained knowledge through various ways from parents, siblings, schoolmates, teachers, media, Google, etc., etc. So when they first time hear something from Vedic literatures, they try to correlate the teachings of the Vedic literature with their past experience, either by learning or by going through. But the intention of these presentations, instead, now on let us try to experience the world through the words of the scriptures. Instead of seeing the scripture through our worldly knowledge, let us see the world through our scriptural knowledge. So keeping this in the background, let us get into the discussion. At the same time, humble request to all the devotees, whatever we may know about this topic of creation, etc., etc., for the time being, at least for today, let us keep it outside the classroom and let us try to understand what is there in the Bhagavatam from the very beginning. We might, even within ISKCON also, we might have heard many things in our ISKCON typical style. What we are going to discuss today, some of them may be quite against to that, are quite different to that. So don't get panicked or don't find that, okay, what this fellow is doing here, what is he trying to say? What we heard, what we read till date today, everything seems to be opposite here and there. We will discuss why it is so, everything. Not many, but once in a while we may come across. So many years back, there was a book written by His Grace Govind Prabhu, The Real Side, Hand of God. So all the books of Govind Prabhu published by Tulsi Books. So sometimes I was given the service of reading through, editing kind of, not exactly full editing, but not English editing, studying based on everything is based on Mahabharata or not, something like that. So in one book, in the introduction, Govind Prabhu mentioned about this, the educational system, the contrast between modern education and Vedic education. So this is from that paragraph. I will paraphrase it and putting here, not exactly as it is. Any education system should contain these 5 principal aspects. So what are they? The first aspect, skills are excellence. Origin are beginning. Values are morality. Character are qualities. And purpose are goal. These are the 5 aspects any education should contain. These 5 become subtler and subtler to pursue progressively. Starting from skills, as we go ahead toward the purpose, they become more and more subtle. Vedic texts and great sages give complete emphasis to all the 5 aspects of the education. But modern education system successfully neglects the rest of the 4 while giving more and more emphasis only to the first item, helping students develop skills and become excellent in a particular subject. Remaining 4 are not thoroughly tackled with the modern education. No emphasis on the essential aspects of the life, like the purpose of life and its origin, and how to deal with the world around us with values and character. So the first one given more emphasis, the remaining 4 are not given that much emphasis in the modern education system. So this is what Govind Prabhu says in the introduction to that book, The Real Side. So today we are going to see some of the popular theories which are there in the academic world, the Big Bang theory and the theory of evolution. And today we are going to discuss about the Vedic perspective for these 2 aspects, these 2 topics of modern education. So the Vedic understanding of the universe in which we are living is this, as we read from Brahma Samhita. Goloko namni nijadamni tallechatasya devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu tete prabhava nichaya vihidaschayena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So we talk about Devi Dham, we talk about Kailash Dham, we talk about Vaikuntha Dham, we talk about Goloka Dham from our Vedic literatures. But in the modern education, they talk about solar system, galaxy, Milky Way, such and such. So out of the many universes, today we'll discuss about one universe in which we are living. So before beginning, there is a small video. We have a couple of videos now and then they're coming just to.
The night sky. The dark blanket above our heads adorned with shining stars, extending as far as the eye can see. The beauty and the majesty of the universe have inspired awe and reverence in the best brains throughout history. Many millennia ago, an advanced civilization revealed the mystery of the origin and nature of the cosmos. The universe is made up of 14 vertically arranged planetary systems, or lokas. In the center of Jambudvip stands the most extraordinary divine golden mountain, Meru. The sun evaporates water from all over the creation and uses it as fuel. The Vedic literatures answer the question whether the cosmos always existed or it had a beginning. On the ocean, Vishnu expansion reclined on a serpent bed. From his navel arose a lotus on which Brahma was born. The super-intelligent being, Vishnu, reclining in mystic slumber amid the causal ocean. When he exhales, millions of universes issue from his body and expand, until he inhales when all the universes return within him.
That was a small trailer of what we are going to discuss. Of course, the cosmology structure of the universe we are not discussing today. That needs 4-5 days for our presentation. So just quick recap for the discussion in the second and third cantos about the primary and secondary creations. That the previous picture shown that from first canto we see this past time. Parikshit Maharaj was to die in 7 days. He takes the vow of fast until death on the bank of Ganga. Sukadeva Goswami comes and then he puts forward 4 questions unto Srila Sukadeva Goswami. What is the complete perfection? Ata pruchami samsiddhim. So please tell me what is the samsiddhi, the complete perfection. And purushasya etkaryam muryamanasya sarvada. What is to be done at all times, especially for a person who is about to die. So what is the ultimate perfection? What is the means to attain that ultimate perfection? So what does the means should contain? What all different activities that means should contain? Please tell me what men must hear, chant, remember, and worship. Prescriptions. And what one should not hear, chant, remember, or worship. Prohibitions. These are the 4 questions made by Srila Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami in the next canto, that is second canto in the beginning, he gives a simple solution. Tasmat bara sarvatma bhagavan ishvaro hari shrotavya kirtitavyasya smartavya ichata abhayam. So if at all you want to have ultimate perfection, samsiddhi, that is fearlessness, you need to do shravanam, kirtanam, and smaranam about the Supreme Lord Hari. Then Parikshit Maharaj might ask question. But Vedic literatures talk about karma, jnana, yoga, and many other things. You are simply talking about shravanam, kirtanam. What about others? Etavan sankhya yogabhyam swadharma parinishtaya janma labha parapumsham ante narayana smriti. Even though for the entire life one may be practicing karma, jnana, yoga, but the perfection of practicing karma, jnana, yoga is to come to ante narayana smriti. They should come to the point of narayana smriti, able to remember Narayana at the end of one's life. So how to come to that point? According to the great sages, Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, Etan nirvidyamanana michata makutobayam yogina mrupanirnitam harer namanu kirtanam. Continuous chanting of the name of the Lord has been prescribed for devotees or for those who desire liberation, the jnanis and yogis, for those who desire material elevation, for the karmis, and for those who are satisfied with the self, the devotees. For everyone, the best method to come to this Ante Narayana Smriti is continuous chanting of the holy name, which is indicated by the Yoginam Nripanirnitam. The great sages have established it. So therefore, at the end of the second chapter, Sukadeva Goswami said that, my dear Parikshit, therefore, please do Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaranam. When? At all times. Where? Everywhere. Sasma Sarvatmana Rajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrotavya Kirtitavyasya Smartavyo Bhagavan Ranam. Whether a person has full life or a person has only 7 days, do this. This is the only solution. Then Parikshit Maharaj says, Jada ho gaya. Ek batao. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam और Navida Bhakti bahut ho gaya. Ek batao. So for that, Sukadeva Goswami said that, my dear Parikshit, for you, Shravanam. I recommend Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmanam Satam Katamrutam Shravana Puteshu Samrutam. So those who drink the sweet pastimes of the Lord and his devotees held in the cups of their ears, clean their hearts of all contamination and attend the lotus feet of the Lord for service. So he gives the solution that you should hear. Then Parikshit Maharaj says, okay, my dear sir, you are telling me to hear. You have described that I should hear and chant at the point of death. The subject matter for hearing and chanting are Lord's qualities, form and pastimes, Nama Rupa Guna. So please speak. For me to hear, somebody should speak. You speak. So what should you speak? First, I will ask about the pastimes of creation by Lord's Maya Shakti. Then I'll ask about Lord's pastimes with his Shik Shakti, Leela Avataras. So start with creation pastimes. So that's how the discussion begins. So then in the 4th chapter, Parishit Maharaj said that, please, I would like to hear about how the Supreme Lord had created this material universe. Please speak about the process of creation. So in order to answer that, Sukadeva Goswami offers prayers unto Supreme Lord. In those prayers, he also offers prayers to his spiritual master Vyasadeva, in which he says that, I will answer all your questions by speaking Bhagavatam, which was originally spoken by Lord Narayana unto Brahma in 4 shlokas. And Brahma spoke to Narada. Narada spoke to my father Vyasa, and he spoke to me. So that Bhagavatam I will narrate in order to answer your questions about creation. So then he speaks about the Narada Brahma conversation, in which Narada Muni asks various questions about how the universe has been created, what is the nature of the universe, how it is annihilated, etc. etc. For which Lord Brahma gives a brief summary of creation in chapter 5 and chapter 6 of the 2nd canto. So then Sukadeva Goswami stopped his discussion. Parishit Maharaj was in dilemma. I ask one question, he gives answer in 5 minutes. Ask another question, he gives in another 5 minutes. He is about to leave. I want to keep him here for next 7 days. He asked so many questions. And he says that whatever I have asked, whatever I have not asked, please speak everything. And don't worry about my hunger and thirst. And then Sukadeva Goswami says that whatever you have asked, answer to all your questions is Srimad Bhagavatam, which was originally spoken by Lord Narayana unto Brahma, and that Bhagavatam contains 10 principal characteristics. And these 10 characteristics are, of course, these are all same thing. Atrasarga visargacha sthanam poshana mutaya manvantaresha anukata nirodho muktir ashraya. So then starting with 3rd canto, Sukadeva Goswami elaborately explains about these 10 principal characteristics of Bhagavat Purana. Sarga is explained in the 3rd canto, Visarga in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and Sahanam in the 5th canto, Poshana 6th canto, Uti 7th canto, Manvantara 8th canto, Ishankata 9th canto, Nirodha 12th canto, Mukti 11th canto, Ashraya 10th canto. Like that, all the 10 principal characteristics of the Bhagavatam are presented in the remaining 10 cantos. So in order to speak all those things, he mentions that the same discussion took place between Maitreya and Vidura. They have talked about 9 topics in order to present the greatness of the Ashraya, the 10th topic, the Samambhana of the entire Bhagavatam. So there, the 3rd canto begins, in which Vidura approaches Maitreya in Haridwar and makes a relevant inquiry in order to understand why the universe has been created the way it is today, as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So the answer to this question asked by Vidura is presented in 3rd canto. A brief summary of the same is also given in 2nd canto. So basically from 5th chapter all the way up to 11th chapter, the primary creation of the universe has been presented by Maitreya Rishi in the 3rd canto. And some details we can also find from 26th chapter of the 3rd canto, where Lord Kapila speaking to Mother Devahuti. There some details are mentioned. And this topic of primary creation of the universes by Lord Mahavishnu is presented as Vedic alternative to modern Big Bang theory. And then the second topic is Visarga, the creation by Brahma. That is presented as the Vedic alternative to modern theory of evolution. So this is the overall background. So with this, we will move on. So before beginning, as usual, there is a small video about the modern Big Bang theory. Just these 2 videos are there, about 2 minutes each, so that our purpose is met at the end. No sound. Sound will come at the end. When there is Big Bang, then sound comes. So from that Big Bang, there appeared unlimited galaxies, unlimited Milky Ways. This is the time chart they propose from 0th time to now, about 15 billion years, how the things have been evolved. Inflationary theory. So this is the universe in which we are living today. So in that universe, we have our solar system consisting of so many planets and stars, etc. So here is a small explanatory video. What happened after Big Bang?
As our nebula began to collapse under its own gravity and spin faster, a dense clump of matter formed in the center. It's called a protostar. At first, its heat was due to friction, but when the clump reached 18 million degrees Fahrenheit, nuclear fusion kicked in. 4.5 billion years ago, our star was born. Hydrogen atoms fuse together to form helium, and in the process, release photons. It's the first light made by our sun, and it will keep on shining for 4 billion years. A vast nuclear furnace nearly 1 million miles across. From a distance, this process seems almost peaceful, with the sun's power gently radiating out into the early solar system.
There was all sorts of activity going on. Things were changing rapidly, violence, explosions, intense radiation. We had a pretty spectacular origin, I think.
Recent research suggests the solar system's birth was far from peaceful. Our sun may in fact have been born out of one of the most violent events in the cosmos: the explosive death of another star. And even before that, it seems there was an explosion so huge that it created an entire universe. The Big Bang. No one knows what caused it, but we think that the Bang created space, time, and all the matter in the universe. Yet for astrophysicists, such as Professor Stan Woosley, there's a puzzle. The Big Bang produced almost none of the 88 naturally occurring chemical elements.
When we look around, we don't just see hydrogen and helium. We see planets and people, and we're made out of carbon and oxygen, and planets are made out of iron and silicon. And that didn't all come from the Big Bang. It had to come from somewhere else.
Here on Earth, we have learned how to create new elements for ourselves. Nuclear technology. The same thing happens inside stars. Hydrogen and helium from the Big Bang fuse to form heavier elements. And if the star is big enough, at the end of its life, it does something spectacular. It explodes.
The energy of a supernova explosion is essentially equal to all of the energy that the sun will put out in its 10 billion year lifetime.
So that was the understanding from modern science. That was the understanding of school texts. So here we are neither supporting or nor opposing. So that is understanding. We are trying to see a contrast from Vedic literature. So better don't take any stances that, okay, they say like this, they say like this, not like that. We are trying to understand from Bhagavatam. So before starting, here is a verse from 5th canto. This is one of the last verses of the 5th canto, in which Srila Sukadeva Goswami gives one interesting understanding. He says that in the beginning, in the 2nd canto and 3rd canto, I have already described how one can progress on the path of liberation by the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. In the Puranas, the universe divided into 14 parts is described as the gross body of the Supreme Lord Narayana, made of his material Maya. So that is the description has been presented till now, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th cantos. Then he says that if one reads the descriptions of this external form of the Lord, with great faith. If one reads the descriptions of the sectional form of the Lord with great faith, that has been presented in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th cantos, or if one hears about it, or if one explains it to others and develops faith, bhakti, and pure intelligence. So, by reading, by hearing, and by explaining, one will develop faith, one will develop bhakti and pure intelligence. Shraddha, Bhakti, Vishuddha Buddhi. And then he will understand the topics of the Supreme Lord. With that faith, with that bhakti, and with that pure intelligence, one will understand the topic of the Supreme Lord. Saveda Bhagavata Paramatmano Upageyam. That means then one will understand the pastimes of the Leela Avataras, which is like an Upanishad, difficult to understand. Agrahyam. So, our teacher Balram Shakti Prabhu took one full class on this particular verse in order to help us understand. Generally, when we hear pastimes of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Vamana, Varaha, Narasimha, Kurma, any avatars, they are pretty simple. We can simply hear and okay, very Shruti Manohara. But when we hear creation pastimes from 2nd canto, 3rd canto, 5th canto, and all, seems to be very technical, very technical. But according to Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Purusha avatars are supposed to be very simple. And the pastimes of the Leela avatars are not that simple. One who goes through Srishti Leela understands it, then one will develop Shraddha, Bhakti, Vishuddha Buddhi. With that, one will be able to understand the pastimes of the Leela avatars. So this is Sukadeva Goswami's understanding. Because very soon we are going to have Janmashtami. When Putana came, Lord Krishna closed his eyes. Different acharyas give different explanations. There are 21 explanations are there. One simple act of closing eyes, so many explanations are there. So many times we don't know why is the avatars are doing the way they are doing. So that is understanding. Though apparently this creation pastime seems to be too technical, but they are actually straightforward. They are black and white. What is said, we read and understand, that is clear. There is no second meaning to it. But in the case of Leela Avataras, what they are doing, what is said about that is actually different. What exactly they are thinking about it. So both are actually different. So in that way. So this section starts with an inquiry made by Vidura unto Maitreya. He says that, please speak about the creation of the universe of happiness and suffering. This universe is consisting of dualities. Speak about that. So for which Maitreya speaks about Sarga. Sarga means Bhuta Matra Indriya Diyam Janma Sarga Udahrata Brahmano Guna Vaishamyad. Sarga means the manifestation of the Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 Tanmatras, 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, Ahankara, and Mahatattva. And as well as their combination leads to the formation of the Brahmandas, universes, in which the universal form has been described. All this happens by the glance of Mahavishnu on Prakriti. So that is called the description about the manifestation of 24 elements, and the manifestation of the universe by the combination of 24 elements is called Sarga. Creation of the totality of matter with elements manifesting from Prakriti by Lord Vishnu's glance upon Pradhana. So this line seems to be too technical, but we will read through, discuss, the entire description, then it becomes simple. In Brahma Samhita, there is a verse. Based on that, the video has shown. When Mahavishnu was in Yoga Nidra, from his skin pores comes unlimited Brahmandas, unlimited universes. Yashvaisa Nishvasita Kala Matavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanata Vishnur Mahan Sayasya Kala Vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in one verse, Brahma Samhita says that all the universes are stemming from skin pores of Mahavishnu. But Bhagavatam goes into many details. It is not exactly the universe is coming out of the skin pores of Mahavishnu. Before that, there are many things are mentioned. So that description is presented in the 3rd canto. So in the beginning, there is a verse talks about What are the ingredients of the entire universe? Dravyam karmacha kalascha swabhavo jiva evacha vasudevat paro brahman nachanyartosti tattvataha. So the dravya, karma, kala, swabhava and the jiva are not different from Lord Vasudeva. Nothing but he exists. The universe is made up of these 5 things, and these 5 things are non-different from Supreme Lord. So he himself is manifesting at the entire universe. What are these 5? Dravyam means the 24 elements, which are the substance of matter, which acts as the upadana karana, the material cause. Kala is the agitator of the gunas of Prakriti, which acts as the efficient cause or the nimitta karana. Dravya is the upadana karana, Kala is the nimitta karana, and Swabhava is the cause of the change of the gunas of Prakriti, Karma is the cause of birth, and Jiva is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means all the living entities put together as one entity is called as Hiranyagarbha. All of us who are living in our universe combined together are called as Hiranyagarbha. And every living entity will have their own karma and swabhava. Karma is prarabdha and aprarabdha, as we study in NOD. And swabhava is our individual nature. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, Shraddho Maya Ayam Purusha. Every living entity in this world is made up of a particular Shraddha. All of us have a particular belief system. That is our Swabhava. That is our nature. Thus, the universe is made up of both Maya, which manifests in the form of Dravya and Kala, and also Jiva, which manifests in the form of Karma and, Dravya and Kala here, Karma and Swabhava. The two energies are the two energies of the Lord. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu, Aparayamita Swanyam Prabhinnam Prakriti Vimeshata. So these two verses talks about Parashakti and Aparashakti. So they are manifested here. Parashakti is Jiva, Karma, Swabhava. Aparashakti is Dravya and Kala. So now, kind request to all of you, kindly pay attention because each and every detail has special significance. So Lord Krishna, for the purpose of creation, expands himself as the first Purusha, known as Mahavishnu or Karanodakshaya Vishnu. And that Mahavishnu was alone before beginning the material creation. Bhagavan Eka Asedam Agra Atmatmanam Vibhu Atme Chanugata Atma Nanamati Upalakshana. Bhagavan alone existed before the creation of the universe, when the desire to create was absent. After the previous annihilation, before beginning the next creation, during that period, Mahavishnu was alone existed. There was no one. He was in Yoga Nidra. There was no one means there was no one in the material universes. No material universe was there. No Brahma, no Shiva, no Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, no other living entities, animals, birds, etc. No living entities are there. Sava etasya samdrashtu shakti sat asadatmika maya nama mahabhaga edam nirmame vibhu. So then the creation, the desire to creation manifested in the heart of Mahavishnu. As soon as that desire manifested, the Maya Shakti, Mahamaya or Prakriti, who was taking rest within the body of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, woke up and came out of his skin pores. What Brahma Samhita says that from the various skin pores of Mahavishnu appears unlimited Brahmandas is basically Maya comes out of the skin pores of Mahavishnu. So with the help of that Maya, Bhagavan creates unlimited universes. Kala vrutyatu mayayam guna mayam adokshaja purushenatma bhutena viryam adatta viryavan. Bhagavan, in his Swamsha expansion of the first Purusha, at a certain moment of time placed the jivas along with their karmas and swabhavas into Maya, which became agitated by the gunas. Maya has called various names. In the Bhagavatam, she is addressed as sometimes as Dravya, sometimes as Pradhana, sometimes as Gunamaya. These are the various synonyms for her only. So then, by glancing upon Maya Devi, Mahavishnu impregnated Maya with Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. Then the creation began. So, Mahavishnu is lying down on top of Karana ocean. Where is this Karana ocean? Pradana Paravam Yomnur Antare Viraja Nadi. Vedanga Sweda Janita Toyai Prashravita Shubha. One side there is material world, Pradana. Other side there is spiritual world, Parama Vyoma. In between these two there is Viraja Nadi, which is the sweat water of the Vedas personified. Veda Anga Janita Svedai. Karana ocean is the sweat water of the Veda personified. On that water, Eko Nanatva Manvichan Yoga Talpa Samutita. Mahavishnu is in Yoga Nidra. And while he was in Yoga Nidra, the desire to manifest unlimited living entities appeared. Eko Nanatam. He wanted to become many. Yak Karanarnava Jale Bhajasisma Yoga Nidra Mananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupa Adara Shaktim Avalambya Paransa Murtim Govinda Madi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. This is what we read from Brahma Samhita. From his skin pores manifested so many universes. When they manifested? When Lord Vishnu breathed out. Yasyai Kanishvatita Kala Matavalamba Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadanda Nata. So that Vishnu is Mahavishnu. So, when the desire manifested, there came Prakriti out of his skin pore, which is called as Dravya here. And then Mahavishnu impregnates Prakriti by glancing upon that Prakriti. That glance carries Kala, Karma, Swabhava, and Jiva. The universe is made up of 5 tattvas. Out of the 5, 1 tattva came out of the skin pores of Mahavishnu. That is Dravya. And the remaining 4 tattvas are entered into the womb of Dravya through the glance of Mahavishnu. The remaining 4 are Kala, Karma, Swabhava, and Jiva. So Bhagavatam actually talks about these 3 only, Kala, Karma, Swabhava. Jiva is not mentioned. Because Karma and Swabhava belongs to Jiva. Jiva is also carried along with the Karma and Swabhava. Jiva ke bina Karma Swabhava ka kuch astitva nahi rehta. So in that way. So this is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 14:13. Mamayonir Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadameham Sambhava Sarva Bhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. The same thing is also mentioned in Brahma Samhita. Mahavishnu glancing upon Dravya. That glance carrying Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. So here one interesting thing as per Brahma Samhita is from the eyes of Mahavishnu, by the time the glance reached Pradana, the Kala Shakti which is there, which is coming out of Mahavishnu, transformed himself into Mahakala Purusha, whom we call as Sadashiva, not Shiva, Sadashiva, Kala Bhairava, Mahakala Purusha, or Mahakal. These are the different names for that person. And Dravya, anyway, we already have different names for Dravya. Dravya is also called as Pradana, Prakriti, Avyakta, Nitya, Gunamaya, and what is this? Mahakali. So, Dravya is Prakriti, whose other name is Mahakali, or she Shakti Tattva, and Sadashiva is Shambhu Tattva. From normal, our general usage language, the union between Prakriti and Purusha is the cause of material nature, material world. Here, the union between Shambhu Tattva and Shakti Tattva is the cause of the creation of unlimited universes. So this is the origin of Prakriti and Sadashiva. Both of them appeared or manifested from Mahavishnu. And by their union, there appears the 24 material elements. So, Mahavishnu was there, who is also known as Karanadakshaya Vishnu. From his skin pores, there appeared Pradana, Then Mahavishnu glanced upon Pradhana. That glance carried Kala Karma Swabhava. With the interaction of Kala Karma Swabhava, the Pradhana, consisting of 3 modes, which are in equilibrium state, slowly, one after the other, the 3 modes are getting activated. When the mode of goodness became active, mode of goodness and mode of passion, there appeared Mahatattva. Eventually, when mode of ignorance became active, there appeared Ahankara. By now, the 3 modes are active. From the 3 modes, from Ahankara, there appeared the mind, prana, intelligence, senses, the Panchamahabhutas, 5 Tanmatras, and the Devatas who will supervise the activities of the senses, etc., etc. They all appeared. So this is mentioned in the 2nd canto. In the 3rd canto, the same thing is mentioned with the help of an example. The example is sowing a seed. So kindly pay attention here. There was Karnadakshaya Vishnu, the first Purusha, and from his skin pore there appeared Prakriti or Gunamaya, we can say here, consisting of 3 modes of material nature. Then Mahavishnu glanced on Maya Shakti, who is also known as Pradhana, and Lord's glance consists of Kala Karma Swabhava. And Karma Swabhava within also have Jiva. All the 4 entered. So then, Pradhana is the state where 3 modes are in inactive state. The 3 modes are in equilibrium state. By the interaction of Kala Karma Swabhava, initially the mode of goodness becomes activated. Now the example is that of a growing a plant. Pradhana is like the seed. Okay? And planting the seed, putting the seed under the ground, is like Mahavishnu glancing upon that seed. After that sowing the seed, in 2 days, we will see a small sprout. That sprout is Mahatattva, consisting of mode of goodness. First, the mode of goodness becomes active. That comes out in the form of a small sprout. Eventually, that sprout transforms into the root of the tree. For the tree, the root is very important. That is compared to Mahatattva. And then, after 2 days, we will see a small sapling on the surface of the ground. Upar. Pile, there is a sprout. Then a couple of days later, we see a small sprout. That sprout is Sutra Tattva, consisting of mode of passion. And eventually, this small sapling grows and becomes bigger, bigger, bigger. It becomes the trunk of the entire tree. That trunk is Ahankara, identity, consisting of mode of ignorance. And from this trunk, there comes so many branches. But for now, we have only 3 branches. This tree has only 3 branches. One is Tamasic Ahankara branch, Rajasic Ahankara branch, and Sattvic Ahankara branch. From Sattvic Ahankara branch, there appears mind and also the 10 Devatas who will supervise the activities of the 10 senses. The Devatas, even when Mahatattva appeared, along with Mahatattva, Brahma also appeared. Brahma, who is the Gunavatara, appeared along with Mahatattva. When Sutra Tattva appeared, along with Sutra Tattva, Vayu also appeared, whom we called as Mukhya Prana. Okay? And when Ahankara appeared, the Rudra or Shiva also appeared. And eventually from the Sattvic Ahankara branch, when mind appeared, the deity of the mind, Soma. Deity of the mind is, Soma only. Soma also appeared. As well, the 10 Devatas who will supervise the activities of the 10 senses also appeared from the Sattvic Ahankara branch. And from Rajasic Ahankara branch, there appeared intelligence. There also appeared prana and the 10 senses. 5 Jnanajas and 5 Karmendriyas. These are all appeared from the Rajasic Ahankara branch. And then from Samasic Ahankara branch, first there appeared sound. The first element appeared is sound. For the sound to go from one place to other place, there should be a via medium, other transportation medium. The via medium for the sound to go from one place to other place is ether. So then ether appeared. Then from the ether, there appeared touch. For the touch sensation to go from one place to other place, the carrier, wind appeared. Wind is the carrier of the touch sensation. Couple of months back, we had summer. Now rainy season going on, later on we have winter. In summer, we are in a closed room. All windows are closed. Suddenly in the noontime, when you open the windows, suddenly a gush of wind comes in and we feel so much temperature. The wind is carrying the temperature. The same way in the winter season also, early morning when we get up, when we open the window, room was quite hot. But as soon as we open the window, the chill come inside. So the via medium is air. Then from air there appears form. For the form to go from one place to other place, the fire, the via medium appeared. All of you are sitting here. I am sitting here. For me to see all of you, I need some light source, either sunlight or moonlight or electricity light. If there is no light, I can't see any one of you. All of you have wonderful, beautiful forms, but there is no use of all those forms if there is no light. That light is acting as a via medium for the form to go from one place to other place. Somebody else can experience the form of somebody else. So in that way. And then from fire there appears taste. For the taste to move from the food grains to the tongue, we need water. Without adding water, we cannot prepare any food item. Can we? Water is the element which carries the taste of the food ingredients to the tongue. The same way, and from water there appears smell, and the smell is carried through the medium of earth. One basmati grain has certain fragrance, but when you sow that one basmati grain in the earth, it will grow, it will give hundreds of basmati grains, which you take out and prepare basmati kheer with basmati rice. How fragrant it is. Where from this fragrance is coming? Earth only. Through the medium of the earth, little fragrance became big by producing multiple grains. Same way, by one seed of the flower plant that produces so many flowers from which we can extract so much scent. Every day morning we offer to the deities. So like that. The earth is the via medium for the fragrance. Water is the via medium for the taste. Light is the via medium for the form. Air is the via medium for the touch. Ether is the via medium for the sound. And these are all like the twigs, leaves, flowers, and fruits, the different other parts of the tree. This is how the 24 elements are produced from pradhana. From one small seed, the entire tree has grown up, along with their deities. So now see the interrelation among all of them. We have 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, and ether. And the 5 tanmatras, their special properties: earth at the fragrance, water the taste, fire at the form, air at the touch, ether at the sound. And these 5 are experienced by all of us through these senses: nostril, tongue, eyes, skin, ears. And the activities of these 5 senses are supervised by these 5 devatas. And we have 5 karmendriyas, and their activities are supervised by these 5 devatas: Prajapati, Daksha, Mrityu, Upendra, Indra, and Agni. And we have 4 antakaranas, 4 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, false ego, and consciousness. And their activities are controlled by Soma, Brahma, Rudra, Vishnu, or Brahma. Here Brahma as the living entity, as Jiva Tattva, supervises the intelligence. Brahma as the Gunavatara supervises the Chetana. So these are the 24 elements produced from Pradhana or Prakriti. So there is some discussion about how these 24 elements function What is the interrelation among them? By the combination of these 24 elements, unlimited universes are formed. By the combination of same 24 elements, the human body for the human beings, the devatas body for the devatas, animal body for the animals, plant body for the plants are manufactured. All our bodies are made up of the same 24 elements. Every element has a unique function to perform. They cannot be performed by some other element. Their function, they only have to perform. So some example is there in order to understand what are their functions. Mahatattva is the root of the universe, represented by Chitta in all of us. Within our body, we have Chitta. That Chitta is Mahatattva. It is sattvic, it is pure, it is peaceful, and it is the place of worship. It is known as Vasudeva state. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. When Mother Sati asks, so my dear husband, why you did not get up? If you have got up, matter would have not become this worse. My father would not have become angry. So then Lord Shiva says that the purpose of getting up when somebody comes in is to offer respects, not to the person, but to the Paramatma in the core of the heart of that person. The same Paramatma who is there in the heart of every living entity, there in the heart of mine also. So when your father came into the assembly, I was already worshipping the Paramatma in my heart. Then what is the point of offering another respect to the same Paramatma in the heart of your father? So I was already absorbed in the worship of Paramatma in my heart. So that's how Lord Shiva, in that context, that verse comes. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. That Vishuddha Sattva is called as Vasudeva. So in that Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord Vasudeva is worshipped. So that is the function of Chitta. So Chitta by nature is pure, changeless, and peaceful. It is made up of Vishuddha Vijnana Shakti. And then Ahankara. Ahankara is endowed with Jnana, Kriya, and Dravya Shaktis. Serves as the sense devatas, senses, and the grass elements, and produces peace in the mode of goodness, passion in the mode of passion, and bewilderment in the mode of ignorance. These are the various functions of Ahankara. And mind, it is the storehouse of the experiences that we go through. Good or bad, it will store all the experiences. And when right time comes, it will remind us of our past experiences. Of this life or of the previous life also. So they are called as Sankalpa and Vikalpa. Sankalpa is general experience that we remember. And Vikalpa is that some unusual thing we remember. So that is Vikalpa. And Buddhi, Dravya Spurana Vijnanam, manifests an object. Whatever that is there in the material world. What is what? That understanding is given by Buddhi. It also has other functions such as Samshaya, Viparyasa, Nichaya, Smriti, Swapa, and Asiddha senses. It is made up of Jnana Shakti. So now the example is given. So for example, after lunch in the noontime around 1 o'clock, we go for a power nap. So that day we had deep sleep. At 4:30, the conch sounds. Yes? Then the brahmacharis who are sleeping here in this building, they hear the sound of the conch shell. So when I hear the sound, first it is registered by Chitta as simply awareness. Because I am already in deep sleep. My body is not functional. The sound is first noticed by our Chetana. Okay? Then by Buddhi, I realize that this is a sound, and especially this is the sound of the conch shell. And by mind, I develop desire or hatred for the sound. If it is the conch shell sound, I may like to hear. If it is the sound of a vehicle which is going this side, or if it is the sound of a drill machine, close the ears. Don't want to hear. The mind will indicate that. By mind, I will develop a desire to hear or continue to hear or stop. And by ahankara, I understand its relation to one's identity. If it is conscious sound, I have close sambandha with that. I understand that it's already 4:30, I need to get up and get ready and go and take darshan. And if it is a drill machine sound or tractor sound, is out of we give a strong warning to him, stop this, something like that. So by mind, I order prana and the action senses to act accordingly. So whether it is favorable or non-favorable, the ahankara gives a order to mind to do the needful. If it is a tractor sound, ahankara will tell the mind, hey mind, go and stop it, disturbing me. The mind will tell the prana. The prana will tell the karmendriyas. The karmendriyas are, they get up, the body gets up, walks out, and the mouth speaks, says that stop it. Or if it is a favorable sound, the body gets up, walks to the bathroom, takes bath, wears new clothes, puts tilak, and goes to the temple hall and take darshan. So like that. The same thing with the help of box here. We receive information from the external world with the help of our 5 senses, 5 jnanendriyas. Whatever information that we receive through the 5 senses is analyzed. It is a raw information and it is directly analyzed by buddhi or intelligence. It is intelligence will tell us what is what. It is intelligence will tell that this Prabhuji is wearing a white kurta upon which there is a saffron colored bead bag. That color discrimination, everything is by the intelligence. And then the mind stores the experiences. For example, today morning, all the devotees of the Bhagavatam class, they all went to kitchen for prasadam. If the prasadam is good, they store, the mind will store that experience. On July 31st morning, 9:30 a.m., the prasadam served in Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra temple was very nice. And that prasadam consists of 3-4 items. In the future, when they see any of those items, they will remember today's experience. The mind will pop up that past experience. The past also you have been there. This was like this. So take more. That time it was very nice. This time also hopefully it is very nice. Take. If it was a bad experience, the mind will tell that last time it was very bad. Don't take. Take little only. If it is good, take more. So mind will do that function. So thus mind stores all the experiences. And ahankara is the real experiencer. And the same ahankara will demand more such experiences. And ahankara expresses its demand through mind. Mind is his personal assistant. And mind gives orders to prana. Prana instigates action through 5 karmendriyas. The legs, hands, the mouth, anus, and genital. So this is how our body functions. And whatever you see here, everything, all this put together is called as our subtle body. Our subtle body consists of all these things and all these various functions. So whatever is shown here, this is all our subtle body, which is there within our gross body, which interacts with the external world. And superior to the subtle body is chitta. And here, ahankara is made up of ignorance, mind is made up of goodness, buddhi is made up of passion. 3 modes are covered. Chitta is made up of pure goodness. Okay? And chitta is the interface between the subtle body and the spirit soul. Spirit soul is completely beyond 3 modes. The subtle body and the gross body are completely made up of 3 modes. The interface which connects the gross and subtle body is made up of 3 modes, and the soul, which is beyond 3 modes, the vaya medium is Chetana. And spirit soul works under the supervision of Supreme Soul. So, generally in the Bhagavatam we hear about Jnana Vijnana. In Bhagavad Gita also many times comes. Srila Prabhupada translates as practical knowledge and realized knowledge. So, for our discussion, we see this as Jnana means knowledge of the material world, which is the function of the subtle body. Subtle body enables us to understand what the material world is all about. And Vijnana is the knowledge of the spiritual world. This is the function of the Chetana. Chetana enables us to get the knowledge of the soul and super soul, and also the abode of the Supreme Lord, Vaikunta. So that is the function of Chetana. One second, Prabhuji. After one slide, I'll open for some questions. We will discuss. So, generally the hierarchy is supposed to be like this. External world, gross body, subtle body, Chetana, spirit soul, super soul. But unfortunately, when the living entity in the material world, the hierarchy will be like this. Subtle body is in the superior position. In that subtle body, Ahankara is the big boss. Because of that, we are bound by misidentity and doership mentality, which are called as para abhidhyana and kartrutvam. These combined together will give us ishatvam. Para abhidhyana means we in reality are the spirit soul, but we identify ourselves with the body in which we are living. Because we are living in the body, the activities which are actually performed by the gross body and subtle body, with the combination of gross body and subtle body, we say that I am doing. Kartrutvam. I am the karta. And hence I am the bhokta. I am the enjoyer. I am the master. Ishatvam means I am the controller and I am the enjoyer. Bhoktaram Ignatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. This is all because the subtle body takes the prominence. It was supposed to be like this, but currently it is like this. This is the reason. Living entity bound in the material world. So this slide will discuss the same thing. The flow of the same thing is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, and then we'll take some questions. Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya paramanaha manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe parasasusa. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana. Here one thing, what we have read, what we have understood till now in the books, it will differently mentioned here. So don't feel in any way. The 10 senses, along with the intelligence and prana, are considered superior to the dull matter made up of 5 gross elements. Our body is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, the gross body. And superior to that gross body is subtle body. The first thing in the subtle body is the 10 senses. 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas. The 5 Jnanendriyas always accompany with intelligence or buddhi. Buddhi ke bina Jnanendriyas kuch kar nahi sakte. Because in 5 Jnanendriyas acquire raw information, it is analyzed by the intelligence and the information is given by the intelligence. These 6 function all together. They cannot be working separately. And 5 Karmendriyas work under the supervision of prana. We have 10 pranas: prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, krikara, etc. etc. These 10 pranas are only enabling us to perform physical activity, whether it is speaking or lifting something or giving and taking and walking or excretion or producing children, etc. All these activities are performed by 5 Karmendriyas only by prana. So prana goes along with the 5 Karmendriya. They cannot be separated. These are all closely bound together. So superior to the gross body is 10 senses. And the 10 senses are active throughout the day. Morning to evening, when we are awake, the body is performing so many activities with the help of the 10 senses. They are performing various activities throughout the day. In the night time, when we sleep, we are not in deep sleep, but we are in a dreamy condition. In that time, the mind always goes along with the false ego. Mind is the personal servant, not servant. Personal secretary of the Ahankara. Personal secretary. So when scriptures talk about mind, we should always take the Ahankara also along with it. If scriptures are telling Ahankara, the mind should be taken. When boss is there, secretary will be there. When secretary is there, secretary cannot do anything on his own. Whatever boss says, secretary does. So mind and ahankara goes together always. They cannot be separated. They are both are inseparable. So in the dreamy state, when we are sleeping, we forget our gross body. The senses are also not performing. We are not speaking anything, we are not seeing anything, we are not hearing anything. But in the dream, we become something else. In the dream, I may become a bird flying from one mountain to other mountain, one building to other building, from that building to this building to that building, etc. etc. During the dream, my ahankara identifies myself as the bird, and my mind stores the experience of flying from here to there. And that bird's body has different gross body, different senses, everything is differently. And everything has been recreated by the mind. So mind is still awake in the dreamy state. The gross body is sleeping, the 10 senses are sleeping, but mind is awake. That's why mind is superior to the 10 senses. And then we go to deep sleep. In the deep sleep, even the mind and ahankara goes to sleep. In the deep sleep, we don't have any dreams. We don't identify. We actually forget ourselves as a brahmachari or whatever it is, or whoever we are. We forget completely. We simply in the deep sleep. There are two things are active in the deep sleep. One is breathing is going on. Breathing will not stop. Second thing is that we are still alive. Being alive is the function of Chetana. Breathing is the function of Sutra Tattva. We have seen Mahatattva and Sutra Tattva. Mahatattva function is Chetana. Sutra Tattva function is breathing, which is the life air, which is Mukhya Prana, the main oxygen, what we call. These two things are going on. So, that Chetana is superior to mind and ahankara. So, in Bhagavatam, sometimes Chetana is called as Buddhi. The word Buddhi is used to indicate Chetana. So, Manasastu para buddhir, yo buddhe parasasuta. But superior to this, Chetana is the living entity. Jiva, the Atma. We have seen that hierarchy. And superior to Jivatma is the Paramatma. So, like that. So, compared to Buddhi, that which is superior in strength and is destroyed by the practice of Jnana is the famous Jivatma, which is the conqueror of lust, of course, in the subject matter which is there in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is like that. So, 5 gross elements are inferior, superior to them is 5 Jnanendriyas along with the intelligence, and 5 Karmendriyas along with prana. Superior to them is mind and ego. Superior to them is Chitta. Superior to them is Jivatma. And superior to them is Paramatma. So this is the hierarchy of the all elements with which we are made of. And these are the different functions of all these 24 elements. Yeah, yes, Prabhu. This one? Can you speak in the microphone for the benefit of all?
With these 5 karmendriyas obtains the sense objects. What does it mean?
Okay. 5 tanmatras are there, na? They are the sense objects. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Okay. You want to hear some kirtan, some nice kirtan. Okay. How you get to hear the kirtan? Okay. You are not singing. You tell me what are the different ways you can hear kirtan? You can turn on the mobile and open some audio file and hear. Okay. Or you can go to a place where some kirtan is going on. You are in the brahmacharya ashram, the kirtan is going on in the temple hall. You can walk there. How you are able to do this? With the help of the karmendriyas. You are picking up the mobile, using the hands, the karmendriyas, to start the mobile and to start the music, whether the mobile or tape recorder or whatever it is. Or for you to go to temple hall, you need to walk. This activity is performed by karmendriyas. You want to taste pizza, you need to go to Govindas. How you will go there? You go by walk, you take Lakshmi, give it, make an order by your mouth. By speaking the words only, will understand. If you don't speak, will he understand? No. Then you take that, with the help of the hands only, you cut into pieces and put it in the mouth. If the hands are not there, legs are not there, if the mouth is not there, can you perform that activity of enjoying the taste of the pizza? That's the way we have to understand. Yes, Prabhu. Can you pass?
You nicely explain about the subtle body, gross body, and then so like 5 gross elements, then subtle element, man, buddhi, hankar, and then you told that between the soul and the subtle body, the connection is the consciousness.
Yes, chitta.
So what is the connection between the ahankara and that what to call-
Ahankara
and the consciousness? You told no consciousness is the connecting between
yes.
subtle and the soul.
Subtle and soul. Yes.
So ahankara is not part there in that.
No, this entire thing is subtle body. Whatever there is entire thing above, it is subtle body. That's why it's kept in different color. This one box, if you zoom in within that box, this is the entire thing. Subtle body is made up of 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, intelligence, 10 pranas, the mind, ahankara. All these are part of subtle body. Subtle body is not just manbuddhi ahankara as we read in Bhagavad Gita. Subtle body is made up of 14 subtle elements plus 10 pranas. Subtle body itself will have 24 elements. It's not simply made up of manbuddhi ahankara.
Is a different than how can we explain that it is different from soul and subtle body?
Chitta is also one of the 24 elements. What we see outwardly is the entire plant. For the plant to sustain, there should be a root which is deep within the earth. The root is chitta. The root is Mahatattva, which we can't see outside. If it is not there, the tree cannot stand. Is there any tree without root? There will be no living entity without Chetana. The Chetana is the Mooladhar, without which we don't have any Astitva in this material world. How do we understand whether somebody has Chetana or not? The Chetana is equivalent to Astitva. So it is like that.
Chetna is, we can consider it as a spiritual or material?
It is 24 elements. It is material only.
Material.
It is pure goodness. Within the material world only, it is a product of the pure goodness without any contamination of passion, ignorance, and normally the mind is the product of goodness, but that is also having a mixture of passion and ignorance. But without any mixture of passion and ignorance, when it is pure goodness, that is the Chetana. We have 4 modes: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, and mode of pure goodness. So mode of ignorance is ahankara, mode of passion is mind, mode of goodness is mind. This is intelligence, this is mind. Mode of pure goodness is chitta. So this is mode of ignorance means ignorance 80%, goodness 10%, passion 10%. Here passion 80%, goodness 10%, ignorance 10%. Here mind is goodness means goodness 80%, passion 10%, ignorance 10%. Here 100% goodness only. That is the element. That's why it is able to interact with the soul, which is pure goodness. Take the microphone, Prabhuji.
So Prabhuji means, as you are saying that these 5 indriyas are part of subtle body.
Jnanendriyas or karmendriyas?
Both.
10, then you should say 10. 10 senses.
10 senses are part of subtle body. Then this external, then this is not.
Sorry?
Like this, when I say hand is a karma indriya.
Yeah.
Then this is not that.
We will discuss that. Very soon we are going to discuss about the universal form. There, what is the difference between this hand and the karmendriya hand? The difference we will see. I will explain that. Very soon we are going to talk about that. Yes, can you pass ahead?
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in this prana, you mentioned that it is instigates the action.
Yes.
So my question was like, we have hands and legs, and we have a subtle body, and like two examples I would like to cite. Like elephant also has hands and legs.
Yes.
But now he's able to do more work than us because he has more prana. We can say like that.
Not like that.
Because we see that like some devotee is very fat, but he's not able. The example I give, like a devotee who seems to be very healthy, but he can not play mridanga for say half an hour like that.
See, Prabhuji, kindly focus on the functions, not on the. Kindly focus on the principle, not on the details. Whether somebody can do Herculean task, somebody may not be able to do. Action is done or not. Action is a function of the prana. Chota action, bada action, oh, subjective.
Okay.
Mainly, we are discussing about the principle, not the details. So focus on the principle.
So the on prana only basically we have to work.
Okay. But you understood how prana works? How prana makes us function?
That 10 airs you told different.
If we breathe normally, our physical health is good, then we will be able to perform any physical activity. If breathing is not proper, we cannot perform any physical activity. A normal person who knows swimming, while swimming, his breathing is going on properly and he will be able to swim. A person who does not know swimming, what is the first thing that happens to that person when he is fallen into a well or lake?
He's choked up.
He chokes, he cannot breathe properly. When he cannot breathe properly, he cannot swim. He cannot move across the water. When the breathing is proper, activity can happen. So breathing is prana. So in that way.
Previous, like
this one?
that where Kala Karma Samava, that
Oh, long back. Okay. That anyway comes next slide. Yes, Prabhu. You go ahead. No problem.
In that, you are correlating who comes when. So when Mahatattva came, you told that Brahmaji appears
yes.
as Gunavatar. Yeah. So that only.
Yeah, this only.
So Brahmaji normally is mode of Gunavatar of passion. Mode of passion, he so
this is what I made in the beginning only. I made what we generally hear in our ISKCON lingo. Here we discuss little different. That's why I mentioned Brahma is a Jiva Tattva here. Brahma is Gunavatar here. Brahma is not a person made of passion. Brahma's service is passion, made up of passion. Brahma is not a passionate person. Brahma's service is passionate nature. Passionate in nature. Brahma Seva, creation, it is in passion. Brahma is Shuddha Sattvatanu. Lord Shiva is Shuddha Sattvatanu. Lord Shiva's function is a function of ignorance, that is destruction. But Lord Shiva is not in ignorance. He is in pure goodness. He is a personality made up of pure goodness. Lord Brahma is a personality made up of pure goodness. But their functions are in different modes. Unka seva wo gun ke sambandhit hai. He is not that person. We generally hear in ISKCON lingo, Brahma is made up of intelligence. He is a person of intelligence. Because he needs a lot of intelligence. He has 4 heads intelligence so that he has to create a lot. It's not like that. His function is of an activity of passion. Lord Vishnu's function is a function of mode of goodness, that is maintenance. Lord Shiva's function is a destruction, the mode of function of mode of ignorance. It is like that we should see.
So is it like so from Mahatattva Brahmaji comes, or from Suddha Tattva Mukhya Prana comes? How that's how we are related?
No. When the element comes, the deity also along with that comes. Deity ke bina hota nahi. For example, okay, what is your service here?
Youth preaching.
Okay. आपके बिना youth preaching होगा क्या? मतलब आपका youth preaching होगा क्या? There is some seva called youth preaching of, sorry, Prabhu, your good name?
Janardhan.
Okay. Janardhan Prabhu ka youth preaching at so and so area. आपके बिना वो youth preaching होगा क्या? Same way, Mahatattva is a function. That function cannot happen without the deity of Mahatattva. The function, the activity, and the supervisor both come together. They cannot be inseparable. Just like your seva cannot happen without you, and their seva cannot happen without him. They both come together. They both coexist always. Hare Krishna, you are able to understand this example? The deities appear means they are along with them, along with the function, the deities also made their manifestation. But right now they are all in subtle state. They don't have any gross body. Basically here, the Atma, the Brahma's Atma is there along with the element. The element is created, Brahma's Atma is there. Brahma does not have any body as of now. The Brahma's body will manifest little later on. So it's like that. Yes, Prabhu, you can take the microphone. Yeah, in the meantime, you can, one microphone can pass to Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, what is the difference between prana and mukhya prana?
Prana means the 10 pranas that we have within our body. Prana, apana, samana, vyana, udana, etc. And there is something called air here. Air in general is vayu. In Bhagavatam, we hear about 49 marus. 49 marus plus vayu. There are 50 types of airs within our universe. In modern science also, we read about so many airs. Oxygen, hydrogen, and so many things. So among all these different airs, that air which sustains us is oxygen. Yes? That is Mukhya Prana. Mukhya Prana is the life-sustaining Prana Vayu. Mahan Asu. That is what we call oxygen according to modern education. That is represented by Vayu. The main Vayu who appeared as Hanumanji and Bhima and Madhvacharya. And the other 49 marus will be in charges of different variety of air that are there. And that air will carry the touch sensation. The touch sensation no need to be carried by oxygen. That can be carried by any other air also. Any other wind also. So in that way. So the function of this Mukhya Prana is the breathing. The function of these 10 pranas is to perform activities. They are consisting of Kriya Shakti. And the function of this air is to carry the touch sensation. One air only, but they have different functions. So like that. Yes, Prabhu.
Here in Sarga, many demigods are created, like Vayu, Rudra.
Not many, only 14 devatas are created.
14.
So these are the 14 devatas.
These
5 plus 5 plus 4.
In Sarga also, again, Brahma creates these demigods.
Brahma creates Vestal.
So here, no, these demigods, we hear Chandra.
These devatas.
Chandra is a son of, like, Atri appears. So here only the concept of Atma is like,
not like that. Not like that. These 14 devatas were created before the birth of Brahma, or along with Brahma at the beginning of the creation, which took place 50 years back. Amara 50 years nahi, Brahma ka 50 years. And Soma appearing as the son of Atri is happened today. Currently Brahma's age is 50 years plus. The 51st year, first month, first day is going on. So इनका सृष्टि 50 years पहले हुआ था. जो सोमा के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं वो आज का. So both are different.
So in Visarga, like every time Visarga happens, every day.
Wait, Proji. We will discuss about Visarga in the afternoon. When it happens, how it happens, that we will discuss. Visarga happens every day of Brahma. There is a repetition. But Sarga happens only once in the lifetime of Brahma, before the birth of Brahma. Yes. Different. This Soma is the first Soma. The moon god will be changing after every Manvantara. This is the first one. For example, if somebody wants to start a business, with whom he starts? With his close friends. 1 or 2 friends come and they start business. Eventually, when the business expands, both will become separate and they start different business. And this person will employ so many other people and give the responsibility to them. He stays at home and they manage the company. So, first at the beginning of the creation, Lord Vishnu brought along with him some of his associates from Vaikuntha. These are all Vaikuntha, Vishnu's associates in Vaikuntha.
Also have bodies at that time.
They will have bodies eventually. Yes, bro.
But when Mahavishnu exhales, Mahavishnu when he is exhaling, so when universes are coming out.
Not universes. Dravya comes out.
So that comes as a shell or how it comes?
Not shell. Dravya means material energy. It has no form.
No form.
Does the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance have any form? Does they have any form? What comes out is Dravya. Dravya nothing but mode of goodness plus mode of passion plus mode of ignorance. 3 modes came out of the body of Karnadaksha Vishnu.
So what we see that universe shells coming out, that is not exactly happening. What?
That is also happening. It is like a aphorism, means what happens in a big entire phenomena is mentioned in one sentence. From Mahavishnu's skin pore, the universe are coming out. In one line is mentioned. But how they are coming out is a big theory behind that. The sum of 3 angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. How? You need to prove.
There is combination of many things.
That's what we are discussing here.
Correct. Prabhuji, this ego, ahankara, if we see like we want to have a true ego. So like we are servant of Lord. So that is a spiritual identity. But here we see ahankara is placed in the material subtle body, the material world. So what is the relation between that true identity, chitta, and this ahankara?
This is the normal hierarchy. There is super soul. The individual living entity is serving the super soul, and its service is provided, facilitated by chitta, subtle body, gross body, etc. etc. So, but itna dekhte, this person becomes very angry. How long I should serve you? कितना दिन सेवा करते रहूं? कुछ दिन मैं भी enjoy करूं. He wants to become the Isha. Now, he is the supreme Isha. He is the Isha, and Ishatvam is facilitated by all these people. But this person wants to take that role, Ishatvam. So that's why the true ego became false ego. So that we are going to discuss in the afternoon. Why that happens? That is the important thing in our discussion. We will do that in the afternoon. What exactly happens? Why the true ego becomes false ego? We will discuss that. Yes, Prabhu, 12:40. We have some more slides to discuss.
Prabhu, in the beginning you said something about material cause and efficient cause. Could you explain material cause, efficient cause? And I also had immediate cause, ultimate cause. So this little...
Okay, the example is given in the Bhagavatam itself. Like a pot, especially in the summer season, every home they have water pot for keeping the water cool. How that water pot has been manifested? Who are the different people and ingredients are involved in it? A person goes to a place, collects some mud, puts that mud on the wheel, potter's wheel, then he revolves the wheel, he transforms the mud into a wonderful pot, then dries it and burns it, like that a pot is made. Here the mud itself is the material cause. It is the main ingredient which is used to make the pot. But the matter itself cannot transform into pot. There is a person behind who can transform the pot into the mud into pot. That is the efficient cause. The transformer is efficient cause. The transformed is the material cause. Dravya is the material cause. Kala is the efficient cause. So it's like that. And direct cause, remote cause, they come in the karma function. The Jiva is the direct cause, the Supreme Lord is the remote cause, ultimate cause or something. That is different. We are not talking about karma aspect here. Here, the general principle of the universal creation, how it happens. Okay? Sorry, all of you are able to follow me? Is it too technical? Because generally we don't discuss these details in our regular classes. So these are all put at one place so that at one go we can discuss. There are many more things we will discuss in the afternoon. So till now we discussed that Pradhana appeared from the skin pores of Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu, by glancing upon Pradhana, he impregnated Pradhana with Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti, consisting of karma and svabhava. And from that combination, Pradhana gave birth to Mahatattva, mind, intelligence, ahankara, prana, jnanendriyas, karmendriyas, panchamahabhutas, and 5 tanmatras. All these are formed. So now the 14 devatas who also appeared along with the 24 elements, they do not know what to do. They appeared, they are all lying here and there, as you see in the picture. One is here, one is here, one is here, like that, like that. They are at different places. They don't know what to do. Now all those devatas, they offered prayers unto Mahavishnu. So my dear Lord, you have created all of us with some purpose in your mind. kindly engages in your service. Please give us the knowledge how to create the universe. Sorry, what to create and how to create. That was the desire expressed by the 14 devatas who appeared along with the 24 elements. These preceding deities of the elements such as Mahatattva are called portions of Lord Vishnu. Since they function for Maya Shakti. They are actually advanced Vaishnavas. They directly came from Vaikuntha. Then Mahavishnu entered into these 24 elements by his potency known as Bibruth Shakti. Bibruth Shakti. By that energy, he combined all the 24 elements. These are the 24 elements. So being requested by the 24 elements Devatas, he entered into all these 24 elements as Bibruth Shakti. By that, all the 24 elements combined together, from their combination, there appeared unlimited Brahmandas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to infinity. These Brahmandas are all nothing but empty golden shells. All the 24 elements combined together formed a empty golden shell. The shell consists of 7 layers made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. The earth will have fragrance, water has a taste, like that. The 5 properties are there. Then the 6th layer is Ahankara. Ahankara will have the 5 Jnanendriyas along with the intelligence, 5 Karmendriyas along with the prana and the mind and all the preceding deities. And then the 7th layer is Mahatattva, the layer of Mahatattva. Many times our devotees make a mistake saying that there are 8 layers. What are the 8 layers? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are the 8 layers. Like that, many of our devotees say. It is not like that. There are 7 layers. The 7 layers are made up of earth, water, fire, ether, Ahankara, and Mahatattva. Sometimes Bhagavatam says that there is the 8th layer that is made up of Prakriti or Pradhana. Because all the Brahmandas are there in the Prakriti only. They are all there in the Prakriti. The Prakriti itself is considered to be the 8th layer. So now, after all these Brahmandas are formed, they are like tennis balls or the Panipuris. They are all floating on the Karna ocean. All the Brahmandas are floating on the Karna ocean. And they don't know what to do. Empty balls are created by combining the 24 elements. They are lying there. In order to continue the creation, Karanodakshaya Vishnu expanded himself as equal number of Garbhodakshaya Vishnus. 1 Garbhodakshaya Vishnu entered into 1 Brahmanda. So that Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who expanded himself as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, entered into our universe, entered into our Brahmanda. He is known as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. But when he entered into our universe, it was dark all around. He wanted to take rest. So for which he created water from his own transcendental body. That water filled the lower half of the universe. And upper half of the universe is filled with ether and air. Then this Vishnu entered inside the Garbhodaka ocean and began to take rest. That is called as Yoga Nidra. After taking rest for some time, then he wanted to continue the creation. Then he looked into his own abdomen. Previously, Karanodakshaya Vishnu looked into Pradhana. Now Garbhodakshaya Vishnu looking into his own abdomen. Because when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into our universe, all the jivas who have already entered, who are supposed to get the bodies and perform activities in this universe, they enter into the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. They are all taking rest within the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. In order to bring them out and make them perform activities, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu looks into his own abdomen. Then from his navel comes a lotus flower made up of 24 elements. This lotus flower is also made up of earth, water, fire, ether, ahankara, chetana, all the way up to chetana, 24 elements. And that is also achetana. Chetana is there, but it has no life. The lotus flower is as good as the dead. In order to make that lotus flower active or alive, This Garbhodakshaya Vishnu expands himself as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu and enters at the Paramatma of this lotus. As soon as he enters into that lotus, the first living entity, Brahma, appears on top of this lotus. And also, by manifesting this lotus flower, by entering into it as Paramatma, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, by manifesting Lord Brahma, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu also creates universal form in its subtle nature. The entire universal form also manifested along with the lotus flower. The lotus flower is the gross universal form, and there is an invisible subtle universal form, and also Brahma. All three appear simultaneously or immediately one after the other. Together, we can say. So that is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. By Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's glance upon the elements and the resting jivas who are there within his abdomen, being agitated by Rajas, they transforming into a lotus bird, came out of his navel. Eventually, that lotus bird will become the lotus stem. The lotus bird becomes the lotus stem and the flower and leaf, etc. This lotus stem will become the gross form of the universal form with the 14 planetary systems. Later on, Lord Brahma will create 14 planetary systems from the lotus that we see here. This leaf, this stem, and the flower, these three put together will transform into 14 lokas by Brahma. And also, it will also become the subtle Hiranyagarbha, the form of Brahma consisting of the totality of jivas. Hiranyagarbha is the subtle universal form. That is also appearing along just by Brahma's appearance, the Hiranyagarbha also appears. Along with the 24 elements in a visible form, all the living entities also came out of the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu in an invisible form. That is called subtle universal form, Hiranyagarbha. The gross universal form is made up of 14 planetary systems. Subtle universal form is made up of all the living entities, all the way up to Brahma, who are living in the universe. That is the subtle universal form. And who is the leader of all the living entities? That is four-headed Brahma, who appeared on the top of it and carries out the creation. Thus, Brahma has three forms: Vairaja, Hiranyagarbha, and Chaturmukha Brahma. So Vairaja is the gross universal form, Hiranyagarbha is the subtle universal form, Brahma is the principal living entity in the universe, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the super soul of the entire universe. In our body also we have gross body, subtle body, Atma, Paramatma. In the universe also there is a gross body, 14 planetary systems, there is subtle body, Hiranyagarbha, there is Atma, Brahma, Paramatma is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Sorry. So, Bhagavatam describes 5 universal forms. Or the universal form has been described in the Bhagavatam 5 times because the universal form has different functions. At one time, one function is highlighted. And in Bhagavad Gita also we have one universal form. So let us try to see what are these universal forms. So in second canto, first chapter, the universal form has been described as the Dharanashraya for an attached yogi to become free from hatred, envy, and other bad qualities. When a Ashtanga yogi who is pure at heart at the stage of Dharana and Dhyana can be able to see the Paramatma and meditate on Paramatma. But if a yogi still has some material attachment in this world, they will not be able to see the Paramatma in the core of the heart. So such kind of attached yogis are recommended to meditate upon the gross universal form as their object of meditation, in which it is said that the limbs of the Paramatma or the Purusha were equated with the different planets. So when we see the Paramatma, we see in the Paramatma we have a face, we have hands, we have chest, abdomen, thighs, legs, feet, etc., etc. So, because since they cannot see the Paramatma in the heart, they can see the universe. In that they say that, okay, Satyaloka is the forehead. Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka are like the face. Maharloka is like the chest portion. Svargaloka is like the abdomen. Bhuvarloka is like the nabi. And Bhuloka is like the hips. And Atala, Vitala, the 7 lower planet systems are like the legs. Patala is like the souls of the Paramatma. So like that the comparison is given in the first universal form. The same thing is again repeated in the second canto 5th chapter. Within the universe is the Purusha made up of the planets, whose limbs were imagined to be the planets. The planets were imagined as the limbs of the Purusha. So it is like this. The Patala is compared to the soles, Prasatala is to the heels, Mahatala is to the ankles, Talatala is the calves, Sutala is the 2 knees, Vitala is the lower thighs, Atala is the upper thighs, Mahatala is the hips. So that means Bhuloka is the hips, Bhurloka is the navel, Swargaloka is the chest, Maharloka is the neck, Janaloka is the face, Tapaloka is the forehead, Tatyaloka is the top of the head. That is the given. But in this case, it is said as it is imagined. One simple this thing. How many of us here watched B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata serial? Or any movies based on Mahabharata in the past? Some Pauranika movies watched, na? Before beginning of the battle, there will be discussion between Krishna and Arjuna. In any movie or any drama, where the discussion ends? Huh? Mahabharata, whether it is serial or cinema or whatever it is drama, there is a discussion. At the end, Krishna shows the universal form. Arjuna says, I surrender to you, I will do whatever you say. But that ends there in Bhagavad Gita? There is much more at the end. From the outside society point of view, the universal form is the ultimate reality. Outside people consider the universal form is the highest reality. Because for them, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. This philosophy is spread all over like the wildfire. So they don't have faith in Krishna. They have faith in universal form. That becomes the ultimate reality. So when it comes to the personal philosophy, when it comes to the Vaishnava scriptures, it is said that it is imagined. The universal form is a imagined form. There is no practical reality to the form of the universal form. That's why our Bhagavatam or Vishnu Purana, they use this Kalpitasya. It is said like that because since the yogis cannot meditate on Paramatma, cannot see the Paramatma, they were told to meditate on the universe, which is the physical reality, by assuming, okay, this is this part, bodily part of the Lord, this part of bodily part of the Lord. But there is a problem with this. They may say that this is the ultimate form of the Lord. In order to protect us from that misconclusion, Bhagavatam says that this is imagined. That understanding that the Satya Loka is the top of the head of Vishnu is imagination. Mahavishnu or the Vishnu himself has his own head. His forehead is there. It is not just Satyaloka. For your meditation is said like that. Since you cannot see Vishnu, so आपके लिए Vishnu means Satyaloka. But उतना ही है. वो आपका meditation के लिए. That is not the ultimate reality. So with that intention, it is said as imagined. For a yogi's betterment, it is said like that. But this is not actual. So it is like that. So this is the first function of the universal form. Then the second function of the universal form is in the second canto 6th chapter. Whatever is seen in this creation, Lord is both material and efficient cause of that. Everything that we see in this universe, everything manifested from Lord only. So what we see in this universe is all this much only. We have 5 senses. Now comes Prabhuji was asking, hands, karmendriya, karma, etc., etc. So Bhagavatam very clearly mentions that there is something called a subtle sense organ, something called a gross sense organ. So they use the technical terms. Adhyatma, Adibhuta, and Adi Daiva. Adi Daiva are the devatas who are supervising the activities of the 14 senses. Adhyatma are the 14 subtle senses which make our subtle body. Adibhuta is our gross body, which is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now, we will take one example of seeing. The eyeball, which is here, the black and white portion, the entire, that is made up of flesh, which is made up of earth, water, fire, ether. The eyeball is Adibhuta. It is a gross sense organ. It is like the spectacle. The eyeball is as good as the spectacle, which improves as our vision. The information which fell on the retina of the eyeball is transferred from the eyeball to the heart, where intelligence is there. The raw information which is falling on the eyeball transmitted from here to here through chakshu. The eyeball is called as Akshini, which is a fleshy matter, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, which is part of our gross body. But the transmitting system, that is subtle sense organ, that is Akshini, that is Adhyatma. Then the intelligence will analyze what I'm seeing. What color, what texture, what are the dimensions, everything that will analyze. So this is the subtle sense organ. Same way, when we eat our prasad, when we put it on the tongue also has two things, talu and jiva. Talu is the fleshy tongue and teeth, all this entire thing in the mouth. Jiva is the transmitting via medium, which transport the information which is collected by the fleshy tongue to the heart. That is jiva, subtle sense organ. One example in terms of karmendriyas. Our legs, the physical legs are made up of earth, water, fire, ether, which transform in the form of bones, flesh, skin, marrow, mazza. 7 dhatus are there, they are all there. But the ability to walk from here to there, that is the function of subtle sense organ, pada. The charana are the gross leg that we see, which is made up of flesh and bones. The subtle sense organ, which is the ability to walk, is the hands, Adibhuta. The function of the hands is Adhyatma, Bahu, Asta and Bahu. Even a paralyzed person also has fleshy hands, but he cannot use them. That function is done by the subtle sense organ. This is the interconnection between the gross sense organ and the subtle sense organ. And that function is supervised by the Devata. For example, I have the eyeball, I have the function of the eye and the sense object. All of you are acting as a sense object for me. All of you have a form. I'll be able to see all of you only when there is sunlight. That's how the Devatas facilitate our function, the function of our senses. It's like that. This is the interrelation between all these senses. So here the Lord is the source of everything that is there in the entire universe. That is the second universal form. Prabhuji, wait. We have 3 more. We will see this, then we will take a couple of questions, then we'll stop. No, that is some side effects. That has nothing to do with this creation. No. So third one, it is by the desire of the Virat Rupa that he manifests various limbs of the universal form. Based on our desire, our body is made. Our body we got only based on our desire. The universal form had a desire means every living entity in the universe had a desire. All our combined desire is indicated by the desire of the universal form. ISKCON Pune, ISKCON NVCC Pune is going to celebrate 2022 Janmashtami in a grand way. What do you mean? Who is celebrating? all the devotees in Pune ISKCON temple are celebrating. So like that. When the universal form is desiring something means every living entity in that universe is desiring something. So we all have desire to eat and drink. The mouth appeared. We desire to speak. The mouth appeared. We desire to smell. The nostril appeared. We desire to see. Eyes appeared. We desire to understand. The intelligence appeared. The ears appeared. We desire to touch and to feel. The skin appeared. We desire to perform, act some activities. The hands appeared. We desire to walk. Legs appeared. We desire to beget children. The genital appeared. We desire to expel the waste products. The anus appeared. And we desire to bond. The navel appeared. And we desire to think and experience. Man, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chetana appeared. Based on the desire only, all these things appeared. If we did not desire to think, our mind would not have appeared. So it's like that. That is the third universal form. The fourth universal form is that the Devatas pray to Lord Vishnu, saying that you have created us, please engage us in some service. So in order to facilitate the service of all the Devatas, the universal form has been created. So different Devatas have different functions to supervise the activities of the different senses. Same thing, all the universal form same only, the function is different. And during that time also, from the universal form there appeared Svargaloka, Bhuvarloka, Bilasvarga and Burloka, which are meant for the Devatas and Rudra's followers such as Daksha, Rakshasa, Bhutapeta, Prichashas, Asuras, etc. And Bhuloka appeared for the human beings and all other people, all other living entities, assistants like cows, bulls, horses, birds and plants. They all appeared from the legs of the universal form. And Rudra's followers and Asura, they all appeared from the navel of the universal form. Devasas appeared from the head of the universal form. The activities of the four Varanas appeared from the limbs of the universal form. Everything appeared from the universal form only. Like the Brahmanas from the mouth, Kshatriyas from the hands, Vaishyas from the thighs, Sudras from the legs, along with their functions. And finally, the fifth universal form in the third canto, 26th chapter. Without the Paramatma, the Jiva or his body cannot exist. Though universal form is there, it is made up of 24 elements. But the most important element out of the 24 is the root. Without root, the tree cannot exist. If there are no branches, still the trunk can exist. But without root, no tree can exist. So, the Chetana is important. But much important than Chetana is the deity of Chetana. That is Vishnu, who is Paramatma. So, though there are 24 elements with which the universe is made up of, our individual body is made up of, but out of the 24, the most important person is Paramatma. All our focus should be on Paramatma. Trying to understand Paramatma, trying to worship Paramatma, trying to serve Paramatma. Therefore, one should contemplate the Supreme Lord situated within the body as Antaryami by unmotivated bhakti, by detachment and by jnana, by knowledge, and by using the intelligence motivated by bhakti. Bhaktya viraktya jnanena vichintyatmani chintayet. So this is the function of the description of the universal form. So these are the various pictures of the universal form that we come across in India. Different people have been presented such kind of universal forms. So now, what is that universal form shown in Bhagavad Gita? So in the universal form that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam are all like functions of different senses and different devatas are there. When all the devatas who are the in charges of different functions, they all come together for a photo. That is the universal form in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam talks about the services the devatas have in the universe. Bhagavad Gita talks about all the devatas coming together in order to pose for a photo. Who are all there? Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwinis, Maruts, like that. All these different people are there in that universal form. Functions are explained in the Bhagavatam. Personalities who are responsible for those functions are shown in the Bhagavad Gita. And these are the universal forms. There, Lord Vishnu is the deity of Mahatattva. Lord Vishnu or Lord Brahma who is the Gunavatara. They are the deity of Matata. So Lord Vishnu is also there. It's the maintainer of the entire universe. Na? Universal form is nothing but the body which maintains the entire universe. What to speak of the universal form? Here we have temple. There we have Chowpatty temple. Here we have NVCC. Can the temple work on its own? There are too many departments. Can departments work on their own? There are so many in charges for each department. And they have so many subordinates. For the temple to function properly, we need to have a lot of system. That system is the universal form. For the universe to run, the system is universal form. For the universal form to run, the responsible persons are the Devatas, headed by Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the deity of Chitta. So like that. Here you see, the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, here is Shiva, here is Brahma, like that. All the Devatas are there, who are responsible for the maintaining the entire universe. That is universal form. So this is our temple picture. So Radha Gopinath Mandir, COM, HOD, assistants, and these are different departments. They are all meant to serve the supreme deities. But when Maharaj's birthday is there, all the brahmacharis come together. They give a pose for the photo. So this is Bhagavad Gita universal form. This is Bhagavatam universal form. So this is our GBC photo. For the entire ISKCON body, this is the universal form. And they have so many ministries. The GBCs and ministries are there. They are the Bhagavatam universal form. So it is like that. That is the understanding of the universal form. As sometimes we may just discard it. It is you imagined form, not imagined. It is actually the system, the function, the system which takes care of the running of the entire universe. So it is like that. So it is 1:11. We'll stop here. Wait. Should we take some questions or we stop here, Ruji? Afternoon? Okay. Some devotees who have questions, we can discuss one-on-one. Now we'll stop here. Thank you very much for joining us. So request all the devotees to be present in the afternoon also. We will discuss such kind of things in the afternoon also. There are many more. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.